Hey, Riding Side Saddle, it's Lisa.
And Tammy,
Here we are,
back in the saddle.
riding again.
Yeah.
Down this bumpy path you call life.
Some days it's real bumpy. Yeah. It's not real bumpy today, but some days it's real bumpy.
Some days my ass doesn't even hit the saddle.
No kidding. Yeah. Well, we could go off on a tangent about some seasons are long and bumpy and some are short and not, and it's just life, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah.
I was watching a show. It's a witch and vampire show with Scott. We don't usually watch the same types of shows, but this one we're like
You
watching
both are
together.
watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this Okay, here's the storyline. The witch and the vampire, they get married.
Okay.
They're not supposed to get married.
No.
Right. It's against
hate each
all
other.
the rules.
Yeah.
Right. And she is a very powerful witch, and she went back in time with him to like the 1500s.
Oh.
And they had to travel really far, and because they were in the 1500s, she had to ride side saddle.
Oh.
And I was giggling to myself about the side saddle reference and like really how challenging it was for her to have to take that long journey all side saddle.
That's how we came up with this name, isn't it?
It sure was.
Yeah.
So I had to giggle about that.
For sure. I mean, we didn't come up with the name because you watched that show.
No.
It was because when you are a woman, everything is more difficult.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Than your counterparts.
Because of expectations.
For sure.
Oftentimes, whether it's your own expectations or social, cultural expectations.
Correct.
It just seems to be a little bit
really
more
hard
effort.
to be a woman.
Yeah,
Right.
a bit more effort for the same output.
Right. You're riding a horse and I'm riding a horse, but it is more difficult to ride side saddle than it is to ride the way you are.
Exactly.
And I've got this big long dress, all these skirts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
All of those things.
Right. You and your britches over there.
Too big
Taking
for your
it
britches.
easy.
Yeah. So I had to giggle about that.
Yeah. That is cute.
So we're kind of tonight talking about, I feel like it's really related to that.
Yeah.
If I really dive into it. Poor Tammy has to experience me sending her random memes and quotes all the time. When it like really is a sucker punch for me, I send it to her.
I do it back. It's
true.
reciprocal.
That's true.
But this one happened to come from you.
You're like 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's terrible. Yes, this one came from me. I just feel like I do it a lot.
I wouldn't say
okay. So this is a person that I follow on social. I don't even know his first name, but he puts together these posts and signs them J. Mike Fields. He always, for me, has a tendency to like just get it in there and twist it up good. This one is no exception. It's a little bit long, but it says, calculate the emotional impact a task has on you, and you will realize that it's not really about the task itself, but about the overwhelming feeling it evokes within you. Well, he had me hooked by that point.
For sure.
It triggers complex and conflicting beliefs and overwhelms your system before you begin the task. That's why learning how to manage your feelings and reconnect with your body is crucial. Your mind won't solve what it has created. Focus on your body and build the connection, a bridge between your heart and mind. No more avoiding, no more delay. It's time.
Wow. So procrastination, it's not really about being lazy, is it? That's what I'm reading.
That's
what I heard when you,
Mm-hmm.
that it is actually an emotion that's stuck that isn't allowing you to do the task.
Yeah, I think that's a really good take, like through this lens. I think procrastination happens for a whole variety of reasons, but specific to this quote, I think you hit the nail right on the head. That when you're faced with one task or a list of tasks, things that you know you have to accomplish, but every one of those things has a negative emotion tied to it, it is really hard to do it.
It is really hard. I think it's perfectionism comes in to play there. So when you start, well, for me anyway, when I think about, oh, I really have to do X, and when I start thinking about how I'm going to do that, and I get to where it's not going to be right enough, it's not going to be good enough, it's not going to be fast enough, it's just, I can't get to perfect, then I can't get started.
So you have that whole thing laid out before you even...
I don't even realize I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Until we start talking about things like this.
And then you're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I just don't even want to do it.
Yep. Right. That's what I tell myself. But when I dig a little bit deeper, it really most of the time is about perfection. It's not going to be good enough anyway. Why even bother? Even when it's things that I like to do.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, is this, I know we've had conversations about pottery, for instance, historically, about what stops you from doing that. Is that what's coming to mind?
A lot of that happens there. Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to get to a place where I feel like it's good if I don't just do it. And who cares if I smash everything I make? Like, what difference would it make? I'm not doing something because you love to do it and doing it because you think you have to get a certain result are two completely different things.
Because you don't want to let yourself down from what is in your mind to what you can actually create.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we had talked once before about how I can't draw something from my mind's eye. I don't care what it is. It doesn't come out. And it's similar when I'm doing creative things. Like if I get started on something, even if, like with pottery, I could make 100 bowls. Well, what the hell am I going to do with 100 bowls? They're not good enough for me to sell or give away or, right?
Oh.
What am I going to do with 100 bowls? Now I can't make one bowl because I don't know what I'm going to do with 100 bowls.
Right.
Well, who the heck said I was going to make 100 bowls, right? But that's where it goes to yeah, I could do one, but what am I going to do with one? Nothing. Well, so I have to make a whole bunch. Well, what am I going to do with 100? They're not going to be good enough. Just don't start.
Oh, that's a really terrible cycle to put yourself in.
Right.
That's interesting. And I know that you can take this quote a number of different ways, this post. My immediate reaction to it, well, first off, I went online and I started looking and researching, what is the correlation between emotions and tasks?
Yeah.
And this particular article, it's more of a scientific article, draws more towards what my mind automatically went to. And it talks about anticipation of difficult tasks, the neural correlates of negative emotion and emotion regulation. So in this particular article, they were looking at the level of complexity of a task. So difficult cognitive tasks are often associated with negative feelings. They took a number of people and they talked to them about a really difficult math problem, telling them how challenging it was going to be. And just reading the article like that sends a little tiny sweat on my forehead because I'm terrible with math.
Oh, I was thinking, oh, good, let's dig in.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
So completely opposite responses, but that all by itself sends a negative reaction through me. Through this, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's the sampling or this goddamn menopause has got my words mumbled all up. I cannot think of the word that I'm trying to say, so you're going to have to save me in this moment.
I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm waiting. I'm listening with bated breath.
Me too. Because now I'm just like completely stuck.
So is it like he was doing an experiment with
That's
people?
the word.
Experiment.
God.
Okay.
Seriously, I can't find the word experiment. How frustrating. Sampling. I come up with a sampling of people, but I can't find experiment. So it was an experiment.
Okay.
Jeez. And they pulled these people together, highly math anxious people, as well as people like you who are like,
we might have been in the group. We might have been part of the experiment.
And they compared brain activation following like the indication that they were going to go through this, difficult math problem.
So do we have to wear one of those hats with all the wires sticking out?
I don't think so.
Oh.
What ultimately happened, the conclusion was that activation of the emotion processing network was observed when anticipating an upcoming difficult task, in this case math. However, this activation was not predicted by an individual's degree of math anxiety, which would have been me high, you low. Therefore, we suggest that the negative emotional response to difficult math tasks might be a rather common reaction to non-specific to math anxious individuals. So the scientific aspect of it, it still raises your level of nervousness around that difficult task at about equal rates between people who have previous exposure to that difficulty. But my point is that, if I can remember my damn point after all of that, because now all I have is the word experiment running through my head. My point to all of that is that's the direction that my mind went to things that you are just dreading. It could literally be, going to the dentist. Different people can go to the dentist easily, but I will postpone it and postpone it and postpone it. It might be, something that you just traditionally just do not enjoy. Maybe it's not fulfilling in any sort of way. So it isn't perhaps a issue with perfectionism, but I do not give two shits about this. I don't want to do it.
Oh, well, there's that too.
Or
for sure.
Yeah, like I'm completely overwhelmed by it.
Yeah. Yep. When my task list gets to be too long, then I can't prioritize. I don't know which one is most important. I can, but my immediate response is that's too much. And I start to shut down, and then I think we have to get something done. So let's look at this and see which one has to be done right now.
Yeah.
Which one doesn't take very long. Let's just get one check mark on the list and we'll get some momentum.
Yeah. Maybe it's an easy task that I have to do, but I have to interact with somebody that I don't necessarily like to interact with.
Right.
So
or just interact with somebody, period.
Right?
Sometimes a phone call is the most difficult thing to do, even if it's not a difficult phone call.
Right.
Right. Just picking up the phone sometimes is really hard. And it feels like overwhelming is that's the right word.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't make that call because I'm overwhelmed. Well, why is that call making me feel overwhelmed?
Well, and that's the process, right?
Right.
To be able to kind of dive into what is causing the emotional reaction.
Right.
It triggers complex and conflicting beliefs and overwhelms your system before you even begin the task. Which is entirely true. Because, when you talk about the word procrastination, my immediate conflict is, do I do it? Fuck yes, I do. I absolutely procrastinate on certain things driven by anxiety. But I also have a belief that procrastination is not good.
Right.
Like you should not procrastinate.
Right.
So why are you doing that? And then there's an aspect of guilt to it. Right.
And
So
shame.
Yeah. So it does trigger a lot of complex and conflicting beliefs. I am a good person, so I must not, I can't procrastinate, but I am procrastinating, so now I'm a bad person.
Even just thinking about how I'm not doing what I actually am doing.
Right.
Is procrastinating. You know what I really need? I just need a cup of coffee.
I just need a minute.
I just need a cup of tea. I just need a snack. And then I'm going to get at it. I don't know how many times I say that to myself. Sometimes it works.
Right.
Sometimes not so much. Sometimes I'm still
I need
fighting.
Another snack.
Right. Right.
Sometimes I go to the snack cabinet and I'm like, well, shit, I need to write a grocery list. And, this snack cabinet, this thing in the snack cabinet hasn't been touched in a really long time. I should just clean this out.
Right.
Well, if I'm cleaning it out, then I should open up the cabinet above that.
As long as I'm in the cabinet.
That's a disaster.
Can't have one clean and one not clean. Right. When all the while you were supposed to be, I don't know, making dinner or, whatever.
Right. Doing the bills.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Doing something that is clearly
really don't
less
want to
engaging than cleaning the crumbs out of the snack cabinet.
Right. Right. I think I sent this around. It was a video. I think I sent it to you and Marcy maybe about, it was a bunch of women. They were dancing and one of them was singing, I don't want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today. And they kept changing what they emphasized. I don't want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today.
I do remember that.
Yeah. And they made this whole big song about how they don't want to do the work today. That
is exactly what I'm talking about here.
Yes, exactly. Right. So I don't want to do the work today, whatever the work is. Maybe it's paying bills. Maybe it's actual work. Maybe it's, gardening, which I love to do. But I look outside and see all of those thistles and think, not today. I don't want to do that today.
Right. I don't want to do that today.
Don't want to do the work today.
And definitely not that work.
Not that work.
I will find any other work.
In fact, I think a nap.
That I can do.
I think I need to take a nap. That's probably better. That's what I need. And then I'll get out there and no, I won't.
And then I just don't have enough time.
No.
Like, why start it now?
Exactly.
That happens to me.
Right.
But I fill my time up with busyness.
So that I don't have time to do the things that I actually need to do.
Yes.
Right.
Once you finally do it, it wasn't that big of a fucking deal to begin with.
I can't tell you how many times I've experienced that. I put this off for a week when it took me 10 minutes. That was not a big deal at all.
Yeah. I remember saying that to my kids a lot. Now, see, that really wasn't worth all of that, now was it? But I do the same damn thing.
Yep.
Just in my very justified adult version.
Your kids are going to hear this. And then you're going to hear it.
I will deny. I don't remember. I was having a menopausal moment. Talking nonsense.
Funny.
It really comes back to emotional regulation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've learned an enormous amount about that just through the process of mothering Liz, with ADHD.
Sure.
That's one of the really significant issues that people experience when they struggle with ADHD is emotional deregulation, right? And how to regulate yourself.
Sure.
So even taking that moment in between and recognizing before I go and, throw out the pumpkin seeds that have been in the snack cabinet for a year, to be able to say, let's just check in for a minute. And what do I need to do to bring myself back into a place of regulation so that I can, work through this a little bit easier rather than running and and burying myself under a whole bunch of other things to get away from it.
Right. The avoidance.
Yes.
What are you actually feeling? Why are you doing the avoiding?
That.
Mm-hmm. What about that task is lighting up something for you in a negative way? That's interesting.
You know, it may be like you say the word math to me, and I immediately go back to, it was like 4th grade, and you each had to stand up and you had to go to the front of the room and do a stupid fucking math problem. And like, I am not really good in those environments at all.
It's
right?
Too much
Put
pressure.
me under pressure and my mind goes completely blank.
Yep.
And I don't do well at math. So now you just added 2 of these things, and I'm praying for dear life that, you know, somehow magically I get an easy one.
Right.
And you know, that, like, going through that process to be able to say, well, this is what it's triggering, right? Shame, inadequacy, like, those have nothing to do with, you know, one of the tasks that I'm like dealing with right now. Right. But like those types of things, if you think about it for a little bit, they can pop up and you can be like, holy shit, I see the connection.
This comes back from 4th grade?
Yeah. I see the connection, but unless you stopped for a hot minute
to think about where is this really coming from,
you would have never made the connection.
No, for sure.
Right.
It that reminds me of the body always knows, or the body remembers. Your body stores trauma. I was thinking about this today. I don't know where it stores it. Is there a little, I don't know, which organ does it attach to, right? Like, where does this trauma, where does it go? Is it like when you, like your fat cells hold toxins, like that? Is that where the trauma lives? At a cellular level in your fat cells?
Well, damn it!
Right. No wonder I can't lose weight. This is not a medical condition. It's a trauma response, right?
There's probably
Something
more
like
truth
that.
to that than what, there's probably more truth to that than
maybe. Yeah, we're laughing and maybe it's not really a joke.
Like usual.
I saw a video recently where somebody was talking about your liver. Your liver filters everything you eat, breathe, drink, and think.
That would not surprise me in
really
any
got
sort
me.
of way.
I was like, holy moly. No wonder my lymph system is sluggish.
So I had read, to that point, I had read something within the last couple of years, and it talks about your biology, your system, your body, and each individual cell. Each of those individual cells are connected, of course, to you biologically, but they're also connected to you very similar to how we as humans connect to like a higher source, God, right? That is the type of relationship that your cells have to you and your emotions and your thoughts.
Oh boy.
So every thought that you have,
big.
Every thought that you have, every word that you say, your cells are receiving it as if it's a message from God or the high,
Yeah, right.
the higher source or whatever.
Whatever you call it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's impactful. So
that feels huge.
So when you say my liver is processing my thoughts, it is. Because every part of you is processing
every
your
cell
thoughts.
is processing that. Wow.
Yeah.
That is really interesting. So that's why when I'm having a fight in my head with someone who's not even in the room, and I feel
all of the responses, the physical reactions to it.
Right.
Yeah. Or when you say shitty things to yourself about yourself. It hears all that shit too.
Yeah, that feels yucky.
Yeah. I'm procrastinating. I'm not trying hard enough.
I'm lazy.
I'm lazy.
Not good for
Right.
anything. I'm
Right.
a terrible this. I'm horrible that.
That.
Ugh.
That.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, I didn't expect this conversation to go there.
Doesn't that always happen? Like
Yeah.
usual.
Ooh-wee.
Like usual.
Yeah, that is a lot. It also reminds me of, so I was saying about how the body always knows, but sometimes your conscious mind doesn't let it in.
Yep.
There's a disconnect there, right? But sometimes you realize that you've gotten through the disconnect to the part in your body that has always known. I mean, it feels remarkable, first of all, right? My body's always known that, but I haven't known that.
Right.
I'm not my body.
Right.
That's how that feels.
Right.
But it's always there, isn't it? Somewhere. It is in your body somewhere.
Is. It absolutely is. And that's part of the quote. Your mind won't solve what it has created.
So if your mind creates a problem, it cannot solve that problem.
Right. That's why learning how to manage your feelings and reconnecting with your body is crucial. Your mind won't solve what it has created. So,
wow.
So
that's your belief system.
Yes. Right. Like it'll put it out there, and then your body will take it. So you have to, you have to like bypass that mental aspect and be like, all right, what am I feeling? Things that you say oftentimes, that just made my throat close. Mm-hmm. That just made my chest like tighten
my
up.
Stomach hurts.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the things. Those are the listening to your body things. Why did that make
my
me
stomach hurts
feel
right now.
that way?
Ooh, and it is bubbling up into my throat. Wow.
So the feeling that you're getting right now likely is like, I did not realize how impactful
that is exactly what I'm feeling
about myself are to myself.
Right. Wow. That's, well, so your brain's always looking for confirmation and patterns. Mm-hmm. So when you tell yourself, I'm really bad at math, for instance,
right,
it will look for examples to
confirm
that you are bad at math.
Yes.
So it goes back to that old quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're right.
True. Yeah.
Either way you're right.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also trying to keep you safe.
Correct. And that's why it's doing that, right?
Exactly.
Finding those the confirmation.
Don't bother trying to do that, because you know how those things always turn out.
Oh boy.
Don't even put yourself there, because you know how disappointed or stressed out you're going to be, or upset. Or
this is just like that time we were at the blackboard and felt like the dumbest person ever to be in school.
Yes. Yes. I can think of a really big example in my life right now that speaks directly to, well, you don't want to feel the disappointment of that.
Oh, yeah.
So don't take the chance.
Start. Don't put yourself out there. Don't put your idea out there.
All of these times that this type of thing has happened, and you get, you're really optimistic at first and you're really gung-ho about it, and then it falls apart, and you look back and you wonder, why did I put in all of that effort and this is what I'm getting out of it? Don't do that again.
Right.
Now my stomach hurts.
Oh. I guess I'll just clean the pumpkin seeds out of the pantry.
Right. That.
Wowee.
We're both going to go home crying.
We are.
Shit.
Oh, this episode took on a life of its own. I did not see this coming.
This topic, I think, is much bigger than what even when I sent this to you up front.
Yeah. When you start picking at it a little bit and thinking about examples, of how this has lived out in your life.
Regularly.
In your body.
Often.
Yeah.
Right. And currently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man, my stomach really does hurt.
Well,
Ooh.
I don't know that I have anything more to say about that out loud because I obviously
have a lot
some
to process.
to do. Yeah, my liver is going to be working overtime.
My liver is already clogged. My whole lymph system is clogged, for crying out loud.
I got lots to process with this one.
I guess so.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Well, on that note.
Yeah, that's exciting. We're going to have to come back to that.
I think we are too.
Mm-hmm.
You know who might be, and we've not talked to her about this at all. I'm just saying it for the first time right now. Who might be good to talk about this with is Nikki. We had her on in season 1, I think.
Yeah, season
or 2.
Yep.
It was early on, and she talked about emotions.
Yeah,
and
she did.
Just identifying what those emotions are, right? It was like secondary and primary emotions. And
that's right.
So,
and if you don't like process through them,
what happens?
Right?
This might be a really good follow up
to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea. All right, Nikki.
Yeah, you're on. Look for a message.
Be reaching out.
Yeah. So, all right, we've got to put a pin in that for right now. I think we're just about out of time, so we'll leave that there. But we did have some exciting,
very exciting news.
Yes, right. So Lisa is our stats manager. I just came up with that title right now.
My stomach hurts again.
For someone who doesn't like math, she's our stats manager.
That's a little scary for all of us.
Well, she happened to notice today that we have a binge listener in Sweden.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Sweden, but we love you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. That is so exciting.
We have, and other areas too.
Yeah, Bangladesh. We've got a new listener there.
Right.
Which is really fun.
Right.
I don't remember. I think some of the others were repeats that we've seen before, like India and Mexico and Canada. We've had lots there. And United States, we have
Brazil.
A ton there. Oh, Brazil's new.
Yep.
Welcome, Brazil.
New. Yeah.
Belgium. Have we had Belgium before?
Once or twice. Not very often.
Welcome
I feel
back,
like whomever is in Belgium is like, I'll just try this one.
They keep getting sucked
in. And then they're like, I'm not so sure. Okay, let me just try it one more time. Nope. I'm really not so sure still.
We have a listener in France who does that too, I think.
All right, anyway, we'll give them one last shot.
We are thankful for you to be joining us or just, dabbling.
Trying us on for size.
Right. For sure.
Well, we were really excited.
The
stats have just in the last month actually been drastically higher. And really excited to see that.
Have exploded.
Yeah. So super thankful for you as listeners.
For sure.
Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
Tell all your friends. All right then.
And Todd. Yeah.
Our Mind Garden Media.
Todd, we're coming for you.
I know. We've been trying to connect, and he's really busy in his other full-time job right now, so we're going to give him a couple more weeks, and then that's it.
I got my lasso, though. I'm riding side saddle, but I'm swinging my lasso.
Yep.
We're gonna get
him again, for sure. He's going to get it all right.
Got you good, you fucker.
Right. Watch it, Todd. I mean, thank you, Todd.
Right. That too. Should have said that first.
Yeah. Should have. Yeah. So
All
if
right.
you want to do a podcast, reach out to Mind Garden Media. They're pretty terrific and can help guide you along the way and help support your podcast and doing the editing and behind the scenes stuff. They're really good at all of that stuff. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Till next
See you next time. Bye.
Toodaloo.